It's day 231 of the Arukh HaShulchan OC. If you'd like to sponsor an upcoming share of the Arukh HaShulchan OC or more, it'd be very much appreciated. Today we are doing Kuf Samach Beis Gimel to Kuf Samach Beis Yud. Excuse me. The the topic is still well, it's going to be for a while. Picking up and rubbing one's hands. Mainly show Gimel. Mainly show he came Lama lo like be yodav. If the issue is to prevent water from coming from beyond the perik, back into the hand, so then why do you have to pick up your hands? You should be lame. We think about soap the whole time while you're washing until you dry your hands. Hold them down low. This way there will be no water coming out of the beyond the wrist because you're going to have your hand down the whole time. That's true. That's what the more writes. So far, if you hold them low from the beginning of washing until the end, that's good. You shouldn't just initially lift up your fingers and then put them down. Because then what is going out beyond the wrist and come back and be down with the hands. You shouldn't lift up the tips of your fingers. Before it said you have to lift up your hands, it's the tips of your fingers. Ayin Sham. The Talmud came to come over there, so the time we rock at Sof Chituch Bows. His reason is because since the Pope, according to most books, we saw that the Til Sedime is really up to here, Mikradin, or perhaps even to the second, we said to the second or the third joint. You can't add a parak when you add Sofa Bows. So in that case, from this perspective, Sofa parak is not the wrist, but the end of the fingers. If the water comes down to the palm, because it's supposed to go back in the fingers, because it's called chutz haperak, el toch haperak, from outside the perak to inside the perak. But the more mind where it comes to me. According to this Ramah, where the perak is defined here is the archituch etzbos up till where the fingers separate. Chutz haperak misham la'alon. Chutz haperak is misham la'alon. The chutz haperak is from there on out, which is the palm. It's a long Mishnah Berurah here, but starts with Razain Afsi Arukh HaShulchan later on in Sifyud Ches, which brings some suggestions how to save oneself from all possible pitfalls. Mishnah Berurah writes that you should do like these eitzos. For some reason, it's important to bring this down now. I don't know why. But he also writes, B'shas, I guess because this Mishnah Berurah is beginning of the simon, so come here, it's supposed to sip your ches. Whatever. B'shas at chak, when he doesn't have so much water, he should do what it says in the Haggah. That means that hold his hands down completely from the beginning till the end. And Bishop also writes, some Achronim are not sure about this because if they're really straight down, the water's not going to come to the tips of the fingers. So therefore, it's best to lift them up a little bit, and when you put the water on them. We put the water on them. Okay, back to the Arukh HaShulchan Dalet. Amatzasi Rabbeinu Rishonim found for that Rishonim say Shelo Amru. Okay, they didn't say this. Even Filei because they hold that Chibur Hayad Bazua make a perak to the wrist is the perak, not to the base of the fingers. But they say like this. Even though it's not Mikradin, it's only up to the Rosh's bows, but the perak is here. The palm is neither the makam netila nor chutz haperak. Says Bezel Shan arrived at Sefer Tmin Deim. The nearly Kimash goes to Tumas Yadayim, lo goes to El Perak El Yom. The Tumas Yadayim only applies up to the higher joint. Makam Shaz Yad Mitzchabim, place of the hand and the arm connect. The Kiddush Yadayim B'Raglayim, the base Mikdash was until the wrist. Mine B'Shalom Tzrichim Natila Ad HaPerik. Perish Ad Pisa Sayad Makom, but I should say but But my Mishnah is a parak perish arpisa sayad makom shets bos kolos like kalashono. But he says that's called parak and the Beis Hamikdash. You have to do chitzas yadayim all the way down to here. But by us, parak is called here, and the tilas yadayim only has to be done on this part. Ubir advarim means to say after the pisas yad ain't been tilas yadayim chulin. Even though the palm is not part of tilas yadayim for chulin, the come nevertheless came to kedusha yadayim. But mikdash bichlal netila. Since the time when you wash your hands in Beis Hamikdash, it is included. Therefore, in terms of the tumah of the water, it's included within, considered within the parak. Writes as follows: the whole hand is in the decree of tumah up to the wrist, but it's still the only two of the natila until the base of the fingers are kalashon. That's what the goes according to the Ravid Chimdumani. And he says that the Russian tour also seem to go in this approach. Mishnah Berurah says the Rabbah holds that the Iker is like this Yesh Chokim, the Ravid and the and etc. Nevertheless, b'shas atchak, when he can't lift up his hands, you should rely on the first sheet that the Mechaber wrote, the Kula, that the parak is the parak for both the Kula and the Chumrah is the base of the fingers. But the Arukh HaShulchan continues. Ches, hey, sorry. Rashba is a different approach. What should be a b'tshuvas? The sota ain't a la'alocha. Discussion Masechah Soita about this is not la'alocha. There's this in Soita. I don't know. Down on the base. Okay, my insurance circle had to be up. Okay, therefore he never writes in his that you have to do tilas yadayim, that you have to lift up your hands. So why is saying so that you have to lift your hands high? So they should serve tilas yadayim. Because the Gemara holds there that the time is until the base of the fingers. So therefore, the water which comes back from the wrist on the fingers will be matame, the water on the fingers. But if you require the tefillah on the entire hand up to the wrist, like a cloud tinzeh. Could it be that the tefillah time includes all the way up to here? This thing doesn't exist at all. The chashash, or maybe the tumah is going to come back. Why? The shemayim shadu al azura, water which goes beyond the arm, like a cloud tinzeh, ain't going to get her to a cloud. They don't have a concept of tumah. Avi nachzul yad lo yitamu. If they come back in there, they're not going to be matame. But most poskim don't hold this way. They came in their mind by Yad. They hold that when it goes from the hand onto the arm, when they come back, they make the water which is still on the hand from the first washing tummy. Which we actually will see tonight. The Rashba holds, like so in previous simon, that you have to go all the way up to the wrist. I'm astounded at Beis Yosef. Rashba also writes a Rashba. Somebody washes has to lift his hands up high. The water should go out beyond the wrist. Come back and make the hands stomach. No tell. Call yad amakom achibor yad. Oh, sorry. So the Beis Yosef still speaking. So which parak is that? Right? The Jews should go out to the parak because he says, not I'd sham, but if he, I'm sorry, that's why we don't wash all hand until the wrist. But if you wash up till there, you don't have to lift up your hands. Why? Because the water on arm is meaningless. So he seems to contradict himself. They came and this you have to lift up your hands that the water doesn't come back You can't knowledge. How do you know that there's this distinction of chutz laperek on the arm not being matame? It would seem that that's the whole point of lifting every hand, so the water on the arm doesn't come back. And yet he says that no, then there's no such halacha. Rama says that those argue says the I have not seen Rishonim argue like this. But the basis clearly holds that you can be mako in Netilas Yadayim. And past the arm would not be a problem. Past the wrist would not be a problem according to the Beis Yosef. So if there is halacha of going out of the parak, according to Beis Yosef, would be on the palm. But according to the Ravid, when you wash the hands and the fingers, then the palm is already included, even though the water didn't go there. So according to the Ravid, it's interesting, not like the Rashba, the water b'chutz kaperek is still over here, and it is metame if it goes up here, but it's metame even this. I don't know if it's metame the dry part. You wash the palms. It's not metame the dry part. So metame if it goes back into the fingers. So the palm is like we jumped over, right? It comes taller with the fingers, and it doesn't become tummy because the water comes back here because this is dry. It only comes tummy if after the first waters from here come back on your fingers. Okay, there's a long bracket here. The Magen Avraham is down the Ramah Shehekel Bashbal Yadayim Mitchil Batzov. Say you hold your hands down from beginning to end. Shein Zafi Das Rashba and Sham. That's not good. What's the word according to Rashba? To me also. I'm astounded at his astonishment. The Vatikano, the Ramah Los Vilek Rashba. Ramah doesn't hold the Rashba. He holds that goes up out on the arm. It's a problem. For Rashba Yochid B'Shitas Shekosavnu. Only the Rashba holds that way. He's an individual opinion. He holds that holding down is not effective. But we don't make such chumras. The holding your hands down for the whole time would be effective. If you pour it on both your hands or one of your hands, revius with bas achas or revius at one time. Ain't tzorich mentioning you don't need second waters at all. The revius matar gama. The revius complete is matar. But those have the yadayim. When we made a kim, ain't shall mind to main clouds. It says no tummy water at present on the hands. And so we wouldn't have to pick up your hands because there's no concern. So if you watch with less than revius, there's tummy water on your hands. You have to be there's water. There's tummy water. Whatever water you use and goes chutz laperek becomes tummy, then it's going to go back and be matame the fingers. But if you're using more than revius, it's not a problem. Nothing becomes tummy. Even though those who argue on this, came with the Tosefta and Furish came. He says that's the halacha because it's explicit in Tosefta is Zel Medina. That's the halacha. Nevertheless. Even though we wash with more than revius for sure, we have big cups to wash from. But nevertheless, it's an inyan. The Rav used to say a kiyum to lift up your hands. And people came that Gemara says the Gemara is linked to a pasuk and it's the pasuk Vayinat Leim Vayinas Aim from Yeshayahu. Like he wrote in Sif Aleph. But Yeshurim, some people actually say pasuk Desu Yidechem Kodesh. Lift up your hands in holiness. Based on Bas Yadayim. When you lift up your hands, we don't do this because we don't want to distinguish make a gap between the Netilas Yadayim and the bracha. Nevertheless, and no see if somebody lifts up his hands, tavel bracha. Okay, you don't have to say the pasuk. Just lift up your hands. And the Mekubalim said, lift up your hands. Why should I do it? There's no bother, there's no loss. That's our custom. The Rambam Gam Kenu, Moshe Nachto B'Sif Yud. So lift up your hands. Mishnah Berurah says, there's another reason not to say Suidechem Kodesh, which is not put down here. Mishnah Berurah says today the world is not medactic to lift up their hands. But the reason is because we do reviews on each hand. And we also watch until the wrist. Nevertheless, it's proper to make sure that the water should come on all of your, all over your fingers, all sides. Okay, so I guess that Mikra Din, you don't necessarily have to make sure water comes on all sides. I thought you did. Maybe we'll see Arukh HaShulchan says something later about this later on. Hey, because Rabbeinu Ramad Yeshua Nishdim Shefach Yod of Shlosh Pamim. Some say if you pour on your hands 3 times, Ein Tzarich Lizar B'chol Zeh. You don't have to be concerned about all this. V'chein no gula kel, and the meaning is that to be lenient. If you did 3 times. Akal Shon. By the time the Shlosh Pamim Badek Kvar Yotzu Mayim Rishon L'Gamei. For sure you already moved all the original water. Pain the shoulder Rishonim Yitam L'Shtim. Why does the first water make the second water Tamei, and then the second water Lash Shlishim? The Bemes Yesh Kan Shelo. There's a larger question here. How do we say that the second water is Matar, the first water? To be Manavshach. Either way, look at it. The first water is Tamei Lamalei Tamushnim. Why then Matami the second water? A Rabbit Sefer between Dame Shambir Dover. So Rabbit explains this. Shikar Tuma say a dime lo Tumas Badoisi. The Tuma of hands is not a definite Tuma. Tumas Lichluch. It's a Tuma of dirt. Interesting parameter. Tumas Lichluch. Magazea, because you touch perspiration, so and gunk, or sharag machos, so maybe he killed a louse, because this is some other kind of bug, but a bug. Gaza also lichluch, and they looked at this dirt on your hands, kilu nagu b'tuma, as if you touch tuma. But some shniyos, and they made their hands shniyos, 2nd degree tuma, lifsa truma, that they make truma apostle, b'magon when they touch the truma, sholocha b'hem, and not to eat with them, elidei dacha, except by rinsing. But zeo ashniyim matarim b'serishonim. So what does it mean? The second water is matar, the first ones. Klamar medichim amayim tushtoshim me'alichluch shalayad. They take away the water which is dirty still from the dirt on the hand. So that was the end of right. According to this, all this is Tikkun Chachamim, and they said this is the way it works. Can't ask a kasha. It's not really Tumah. So you don't really need real Tara. So the second one, they agree. The second one is Matara, the first waters. And that's why if you could do a revius in one shot, the hands are completely clean. And also if you do 3 times, then for sure, all the tummy water is gone, as we brought down. Mishnah Berurah says the proper thing to do, again, this is Mishnah Berurah, if he has water, sufficient water, is to put a revius on each and every hand or more, and then you won't have to be concerned with lifting them up according to the letter of the law. And this eitzah of 3 times each hand, some achronim are not sure about it. And Rabbi in fact writes, although Arukh HaShulchan obviously doesn't know this way, that it should be machmir to lift up your hands even when you do 3 times. Nevertheless, he says that the make a low hifsid, somebody who's lenient does not lose out because he has what to rely on. I think I mentioned already at some point that Chabad and perhaps other Hasidim, they do 3 times for washing for bread. Test. Now we're going to say why Chachamim made the kana to wash twice the hands for the vias. Why not in one time? It's like you hit it in the kiss. When you do it twice, you get more dirt than one time, like the Ravid says. The second time is more dirt from the first time. Nevertheless, you did a revius in one shot. We don't make it go to the bottom of the second water. It's just the chatchila they would like you to do 2 times. The Shibur says that some say minadin, you always have to do mayim shneim, even the revius. And Chai Adam said that you should do that, both a revius on each hand and also twice. But all this is the chatchila if he has water ready available. But the matriach after this to go to the bottom of this seems you don't have to, and that is the opinion of the Achrayim. Yudi Nek Barkosam Simon Kuf Sam B'Chasif Chav Gimel. Shitz Ramo Ditzartli Torah Revius Pam Achas. The Ramos you should do Revius in one time. V'Einzer Klav Mayim Shneim B'Chulin Rak B'Tshuma. And the second time around is only for Truma, not for Chulin. Ayin Shah. Fisa Einzer Chag B'Asidayim. Kodesh you shouldn't have to lift up your hands. Avraham will sphere okay, but the Ram does not hold this way. Shekosar Perak Vav Mi Brachas Din Tez Zayin. Mayim Rishon Tzich Shek Bi Yadav L'Mala. You have to lift up your hands. Actually, it's my chutz parak, so water shouldn't go out beyond the parak. And come back and be tummy the water. Why? If you're doing a vias pamachas, it shouldn't be a problem. Talking about lo chashav tosefta shekosavnu. Must he doesn't. He's not passing like the tosefta that you do a vias and you don't have to lift up your hands. Came the Gemara pliyole because the Gemara argues in it, I guess, by not bringing it down passing that way. Philosophy like Harash, but the Gemara Shalom Aliba the Ilchasa. He doesn't know that the Gemara Sota is not a Liba the Ilchasa, Kamashab Sifei. So the main Atila, she yatsu chutz the makam natila nitmo. And he holds also when the water leaves the makam natila, it becomes tamei and can come back and be matame. For all poskim lo sfira klein, most poskim don't hold this way. For lo huva cloud, taito betur b'shulchan aruch. Somebody's not put down at all in the Torah Shulchan Aruch of the Halacha.